Yes, as you're saying, this is game three, and the map chosen is Iron Fortress. In the top right-hand corner, representing Dust Gaming, or Alive, apparently on Korea, it is the Blue Terran player, Spear.
And his opponent, down here in the bottom right-hand corner from NSP, it is Arthur.
Yes, and these spawn positions
Samsung
may work
Galaxy.
very well. What?
Is Arthur from Samsung Galaxy? I feel like he is or used to be.
I think, yeah, no, he used to be. That sounds familiar. These spawn positions really are cool for either Banshee plays or Phoenix. I mean, anything airwise. What? Yeah, currently team. Yeah, are great for anything. Great for any air plays, but it's also really interesting just third base positions. Obviously, if you're very aggressive, yes, you could take the position that is vertically to you as a third base. But generally, you're going to be expanding away and kind of expanding the left side of the map. So this map, even though, yes, it's a four-player map, you assume it favors large macro games. This map really does favor large macro games purely in these spawn positions because you can take one side of the map, and it literally is just, that's your side of the map to defend.
Yeah, it still is a little tough keeping and defending that third base, particularly against a multitasking, drop-heavy Terran like Spear.
Such as Spear.
Yeah, because this third base, which is the one Arthur's going to take, is going to be very, very far away from his natural base, from his main base, and going to be very, very easy for Spear to be harassing in here. He can drop down here and run up, attack that bit. The medevac comes around and positions itself here. Very difficult for it to snipe it. Then it runs in, picks up the units, runs into the main base, and that's it's just so tough to deal with. You can kind of kite your way around back here. Nice little position there. Get into the back of the natural middle line even, and then just move up to harass a base up here. But this base is basically never going to be taken for Arthur. Spear can do so well denying it with just a few units down here. It's a tough one. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a weird.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I just love these two little moves by Arthur. As you were showing the audience, or as you were showing the viewers, that Arthur actually he denied the very first barracks of Spear for like 3 or 4 seconds with the probe. But then, as you see, if you go to Arthur's main right now, he only has one in gas, which has allowed him to get a very, very early Nexus, which is because he saw Spear's early CC first, or actually, no, yeah, that was a CC first, and I just really play that he switched it up, and it wasn't huge, but he switched it up just enough that I think, I mean, it may not necessarily give him an edge, but I really like when players can do that instead of just saying, oh, you know, he's going CC first. In your head, you're like, oh, well, I'm not gonna have to deal with units for a little while. Well, I like the other way of thinking about it. He's going CC first. How can I capitalize on that? And that's exactly what Arthur just did.
Yeah, he's done really nicely. A little bit of on-the-fly adaptive playing on his build order, and yeah, I think it's going to pay off him pretty nicely. Spear, of course, the CC first, pretty good choice on Iron Fortress. It is, as you said, a massive map and a true force-spawn map. You can spawn in any locations rather than something like Deadwing, which is no horizontal spawns or something. And you say for once, but actually all the force-spawn maps this season are like all spawn. Iron Fortress, Cactus Valley, and Inferno Pools, all like
this map.
Spawn in any positions.
Yeah, this map actually is a little bit reminiscent of Deadwing because of the third base horizontally, but it has enough. It has two third bases, so it doesn't happen. But for Spear, is actually going to do a bunker rush. We see one stalker out for Arthur attempting to pressure this SCV. Unlike I was saying, in your head you think you have a little bit of time for aggression. Spear's done the opposite and has actually just decided to not really capitalize on that CC and just kind of keep it in his back pocket. We see one stalker does not have enough health to actually keep engaging these Marines. There's just enough. Maybe a couple probes could be pulled, but one stalker, barely actually, will get out and pick those Marines off for Arthur. Mothership Core does push off that bunker and push back this one Marine. And for now, actually, this is looking pretty good for Arthur. I think Spear may have overextended himself a little bit right there.
Yeah, very, very well done by Arthur there. I don't actually think he lost a single unit. There's one probe that's been lost this game, but I'm pretty sure that got lost earlier.
That was his scouting probe that he decided to deny all the barracks with.
Yeah. So very nicely defended by Arthur. Securing himself a little bit of a supply lead, and this worker lead is looking very healthy for Arthur. 10 workers. Normally you'd expect Protoss to have a worker lead just because Chrono lets them produce workers faster than Terran, but even so, Arthur is
even Terran has more
tightly
economy
ahead.
though because of Mule.
It's not even true. Like, Arthur has a slightly higher income,
I mean,
even if not slightly higher.
not
Okay, yeah.
not for
It's
now,
spiky.
but it's always kind of funny because you're like, well, you can chrono boost, then Terran's just like, hey, well, I can Mule. Suck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
But
works
for
out
now, I
well.
think Spear was really put on the back foot by that very first defensive here. I don't know if he really overextended a lot, but it definitely, I mean, it just was not worth what it did. He didn't even force out that many units. He only forced out an extra stalker, which is actually going to help Arthur defend some of these drops probably. But Spear is producing. I really love this. 2 Marines out of Reactor and double Barracks with Tech Lab, producing this really well. This is going to be a really big stim combat shield timing, and this is going to hit hard by Spear because of Arthur. It's going to hit very hard versus a Protoss player, and it's going to be key for Arthur when he's going to get out this Colossus because he's decided to do War Prism first, which I like. But then again, this is a very well timed out build by Spear, and I'm a little bit worried for Arthur's safety.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tight holding it all together. +1 is going to finish up just a little bit after Combat Shield and Stim. And Spear's moving out now. I think he's probably going to go in with Stim. And just the way he's moving is going to completely avoid any of Arthur's scouting until he turns up like at the natural base. However, Spear spots it. The Warp Prism's coming in from main once again. Arthur trying to get some harass done. But he's not going to get too much actually done before he has to leave, as those Marines do push the Warp Prism away.
Yeah.
And across the map, Spear is preparing. He's getting ready. The Stim is just about 40 seconds away. And Combat Shield's done. Concussive Shells, I mean, that's a pretty short research time. 1-1, +1's a little way off. But Spear will have the most important upgrades very shortly.
Yeah, I think that's too long though because Arthur does have his Colossus out and has 4 sentries. Now these sentries these sentries have enough for multiple force fields here apiece, and that's just not going to work out well for Spear. He sees it and he retreats, and I love this little, just to boot, Arthur has the gateways on the top part of his natural, just because you'll often see a Terran kind of stim in, stim around, and basically clockwise go around a base and do as much damage as they can, but that's just completely negated by Arthur. I love this SimCity, and Spear knows he has to retreat, and interestingly enough, won't take the Zelnaga, leaves a Marine there just to kind of see what he can see. But now this has given Arthur a great opportunity that he's been allowed to have extended thermal lance finish before the very first attack, which is just phenomenal for him.
Yeah, it's
As
going
any
to be.
Protoss.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty great. Having been left alone for this one, of course, Spear. He's done playing around, and the double drop is going to move out here. It's going to drop in Arthur's base here. And of course, the disadvantage of having your base set up like this is when Spear actually does land in this nice kind of big area.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be a little bit tough for the Zelts to get in. They're all going to have to move in through this choke pot through the minerals. So Spear's going to move in and land. Of course, Arthur at the same time is pressuring up here, and Spear having to pull every SCV off the line. The Colossi move a little bit forwards. He's going, the force fields, getting rid of the SCVs. The bunkers being target fired down, and they are going to go down. These SCVs cannot get them to repair. The ones that can are being target fired down. Very, very nice by Arthur, but a huge concave for Spear on the high ground as well. The sentries doing what they can. A couple of them on very, very low energy. One of them with just a couple of force fields left, but these Widow Mines could make big plays here.
I love this, and he's forced Spear actually to pull completely back. 21 workers. Wow, actually 21 workers are dead. That's only the natural, but Spear versus on the run back home. Now Arthur does still have 2 Colossus. He had so many Stalkers with that initial attack that he was able to push back all these Vikings, and he's got to be very careful though because Spear may be able to flank, but with this proxy pylon in the back, the Mothership Core, and all these units, I think Arthur's in a fantastic position. Beautiful play by the War Prism, actually pulling back this Colossus so it won't be killed by the Vikings, but now Spear attempted to flank here, but his units are not in position, so it's not really a flank, just in a different direction being attacked on, and this is a 3rd Colossus coming in. Arthur looking fantastic, and I'm not really sure what Spear can do from here. There's so much for Arthur. Guardian shields go down, pushing forward. Actually, his entire army, though, is on top of these Widow Mines, doing tons of damage. Doesn't actually kill anything with that, but taking down all the spears of them. There is, how many Vikings here? There is 5 Vikings doing a lot of damage. The War Prism finally being picked off. That is huge for Arthur right here. That was taking a lot of the damage from these Vikings on the Colossus, but Arthur's still pushing forward very aggressively. Colossus actually had to pull back. Very nice force field, keeping a lot of the army of Spear back into his main base. And finally, the little force that was attempting to flank Arthur's force has been destroyed. Only 1 Colossus left now, and there's literally zero production for Arthur on the other side of the map so far. He's only been warping at gateways, no more Colossus, and Arthur does have to pull back, but he has destroyed the natural. The CC did not get away, and I mean, if he pulls back, though, he did lose a lot of workers. It is 22 to 11 workers killed, and so Arthur is down mules from Spear, but Spear does not have a second CC. Or actually, no, he did say that CC, my bad.
Yep.
He does that, so he will have those mules to get back.
Yeah, Spear's in a pretty good situation. Up on workers. The only worry is that this is still a pretty strong army. With still one Colossus left over, and the force fields and the time warp combo so well together. However, Arthur has to do everything to keep this Colossus alive. It's his only hope right now, and it looks like he's going to be able to do it. 1 or 2 more volleys from these Vikings, and it'll be dead, though.
Sentries.
But, yes, so many sentries going to help defending against the Vikings. The Stalkers, as well, are going to be have been targeting fire down the Vikings like nobody's business. And it's a little bit tough. Arthur now has detection for these Widow Mines as well, though, so he's going to be focusing them down. First one falls, the second one goes down without getting shot off. And this Colossus getting its damage down, but it will fall. Oh. So no more splash damage at all for Arthur. He's having to kite back, but he's taken down a lot of these SCVs. The Mothership Core's gone. There's no easy way out. There's no easy recall here for Arthur. Our force field goes down, but that's his last force field. One more just regens the energy, but Spear has so much damage pumping out of these Marauders, the high DPS units, the high DPS bio. 16 workers have gone down though for Spear, and now the mules are falling. Arthur is pushing forwards into the natural. Has he done it?
I'm not sure if Arthur has done it, but he does still have multiple force fields. He can force field the ramp off and just to deny this natural even more. I was thinking when you were saying that, oh, he loses Colossus. Yes, Colossus is great versus Terran, but Arthur has so many units here. He has literally not made a single probe this entire time. He cut them from the 9-minute mark and afterwards and been only making gateway units. No Colossus, nothing. He actually will take this CC out finally, and moving up into the main base. There may be enough. There's only actually 4 Marauders here. There's just not enough Marauders. Yes, there is two barracks of Marauder production, but Arthur pushing forward so well. GG! Arthur 2-1.